aka Ways for City Skylines 2. You guys, I recorded an entire video and it didn't capture any of my audio. I spent over an hour recording footage, talking through the dev diary, making comments, and it didn't record anything. So, as you can expect, I'm really disappointed and I don't think I'll be able to be like as excited now going into this re-record. I'm not going to make all the comments I made about how good the game looks. Let me be upfront and say that all the graphics that we see in the video look incredible. I love how the cemeteries look. I love all the different building assets. The parking garage looks great. Like everything looks so good. The different little like track, basketball, football, soccer fields, all those places look amazing. I noticed that motorcycles don't have people on them. So maybe that's like something that they're going to update to the vehicle model. Otherwise, I will try to make all of the comments that were unique again. I'll just make them again, and hopefully it doesn't take too long to record. I'm so disappointed. I didn't even turn on my lights. The magic is gone. So I didn't even turn on my lights. I'm just gonna try to get through this kind of as fast as possible, but I didn't really want to skimp on reading through the dev diary because I know that so many of you have trouble reading through like long paragraphs of text. So I will still read through the dev diary to help with that. I really hope that that is something that y'all find useful, and I'll make comments here and there where I remember like my opinions. And then after we go through the dev diary, I will play the video, and then I'm going to do a much more truncated version of going through the video this time around because it's gone. The footage is gone, right, of my reaction. So I will just go to the key points that I remember made a huge difference, and I will comment on them. But otherwise, this is going to be scuffed. Quite frankly. All right. Hi, everyone. We are back with another dev diary for City Skylines 2. And today is all about the new and improved traffic AI. Managing traffic in a growing city was a core part of City Skylines, and going into the sequel, we knew we wanted to bring you a more advanced system, both to address the feedback you have shared over the years and to make the city feel more realistic and alive. Citizens and traffic are a core part of a living and breathing city. Where do people live? Where do they work, and what places do they visit in their free time? Where are businesses located, and how do they get the goods they sell? Are their customers citizens or other businesses? How do their customers find them, and are there other better shopping options close by? All this and more factor into how traffic moves around the city. In this dev diary, we look at the traffic simulation works and what features the agents, citizen service, and resources moving around in the city take into account when making pathfinding decisions. Check out the highlight video below before diving into all the details. So, differences between City Skylines and City Skylines 2. Pathfinding works in a different way in City Skylines 2 than its predecessor. In City Skylines, pathfinding was proximity-based, meaning agents would calculate their distances or order services by a straight line distance without taking the existing road network into account. In the case of a fire, this could mean the fire truck responding would come from the closest station, even if it had a longer route because of how the roads connected it to the destination. Longer response times could in turn mean the fire truck would not make it in time to stop the fire from spreading or save the building from collapse. Agents would take the fastest route to their destination and stick to it, patiently sitting in a traffic jam if one occurred, only changing their route if the road network was modified in ways causing their original path to no longer be viable. In City Skylines 2, agents choose a route based on pathfinding cost. This cost is calculated using multiple factors such as the city's road network, traveling time, travel costs, agent preferences, and more, which we will cover in more detail below. Furthermore, agents will adjust their route based on events along the way. They may change lanes to avoid a car accident or a stop service vehicle, or make room for a vehicle responding to an emergency. Here's an image which features a nice court. I don't know what sport this is for, but it looks really lovely, and this huge cemetery. I love the scale of this cemetery. Like, I don't think that the cemeteries in City Skylines were kind of like the right size or proportion, so I'm really enjoying this asset. The description says, your city layout is only part of the equation when agents decide how to get around. Pathfinding cost. The core of pathfinding calculations is the four aspects: time, comfort, money, and behavior. Time is an important factor when calculating a path. While other factors affect pathfinding, time is usually the most important, as all agents tend to seek the quickest route to their destination. When considering only the travel time, a small road can be shorter, but its travel speed is lower than the longer highway's travel speed, so the agent chooses the highway in most scenarios if the highway is overall a quicker route. Comfort is an important important factor in pathfinding and includes planning the route to be as smooth as possible, avoiding unnecessary turns at intersections, as well as finding a suitable parking spot or public transport stop to get off at. Comfort is calculated directly to the pathfinding cost, with each option adding to the overall cost. Money comes into the pathfinding choices in the form of fuel usage and potential parking fees. Citizens weigh travel and parking costs and compare them to other travel options, as well as walking, to see which option is quick, comfortable, and affordable. In the case of delivery vehicles, the cost of resources they transport increases the further away they are delivered. As a result, selling resources and goods locally is more cost efficient for the companies, as the delivery costs are lower than hauling the cargo to an outside connection. Behavior refers to agents' willingness to make dangerous decisions in traffic, such as making a U-turn. Citizens in delivery vehicles are less likely to make dangerous decisions in traffic to cut pathfinding costs, while emergency vehicles have a more lenient behavior model so that they can navigate the road network during emergencies and make dangerous pathfinding decisions if necessary. Pathfinding also accounts for the traveler's age group. For teens, the most important factor is money. They seek out cheap options when traveling, be it the means of transportation or parking behavior. Adults value time, so the quickest route is usually the best for them, and seniors prefer a high comfort level. As long as the comfort cost is small, seniors tend to choose that option. This made me feel like Colossal Order could include some sort of accessibility pack when it comes to comfort options, like having us upgrade elevated train stations to include elevators and ramps, or like different sorts of accessibility features. I did notice in the last video or the one before that ramps and sidewalks are no longer included, and so I thought that was, we did see them in the Unreal Engine render for the game announced trailer. However, I was really hoping to see it in the game itself, and we do not see it anymore. So I wonder if there's other ways to incorporate accessibility in our cities. I feel like this is an important topic in general, and just a way to add more realism as well as like diversity. I feel like with the comfort level, I guess, built in, I feel like it would be possible to include some sort of accessibility upgrade mechanic to better different areas of the city. Citizens weigh all pathfinding factors when making decisions, aiming for the lowest overall pathfinding cost. Service vehicles are ordered based on the lowest overall pathfinding cost, and when new orders are made, they take into account the distances of all applicable vehicles now and in the near future, as in where will the vehicles end up after they have fulfilled a previous service order. As an example, a road maintenance service vehicle is ordered to repair a road segment. The simulation checks where all available vehicles are at the moment and where their current orders are taking them. A currently closer vehicle might not be selected for the new order if another vehicle is on its way to a nearby location shortly as it finishes its current service order. Resource transportation is affected by the length of the route as distance increases the cost, so companies try to ship cargo as close as possible to increase their own profit margin. Transporting resources and goods out of the city is costly and can greatly decrease the profitability of companies. The further you ship resources, the more expensive for the companies. And we have this nice dock, commercial dock. I'm curious like how much control we have over the shipping. I don't understand yet what that means for the gameplay and management, but I'm very curious. Lane usage. In City Skylines 2, vehicles use more lanes. They try to optimize road usage to allow as smooth traffic as possible, occupying all available lanes as they travel to their destination. This means that if one lane in a multi-lane road is filled with vehicles waiting at the traffic lights, new cars arriving at the intersection choose the other lanes to fill the intersection evenly. On multi-lane roads, vehicles can overtake slower vehicles when the simulation notices that the other lanes are less used. Vehicles also switch lanes to avoid completely blocked lanes due to a traffic accident, a traffic jam, or a stopped vehicle, such as an ambulance picking up a patient. Additionally, vehicles will try to give room for the emergency vehicle by switching to the other lanes when possible. The image description says vehicles adapt to traffic on the roads to improve the traffic flow. And this image is kind of interesting. Like they're trying to make a left turn. This car's kind of in the way. This car's switching lanes. Don't know what's going on with this guy who's like swerving a little bit. I love these buildings. They kind of remind me of Northeast Philadelphian homes with like the row house style with the fenced in backyard and yard structure. What would you call this? Oh my god. There's an obvious word for this and I don't remember what it is. Like a tool shed. I think this is really cool. I do love all of the buildings that they've created and shown so far for City Skylines 2. I do love the changes they're making with the traffic AI. I think it's super smart. I love that each vehicle or each agent makes its own decisions based on other agents around them, other traffic conditions. I think this is so cool. So bravo to City Skylines, to Colossal Order. Great job. I love everything that they're doing. I truly do. Traffic simulation, agents, and performances. The traffic simulation is complex in City Skylines to. In addition to calculating their path, all vehicles and pedestrians take into account all nearby agents at all times as they navigate the streets and pathways in the city. The agents make decisions affecting traffic flow multiple times while traveling, separate from their pathfinding decision. These include accelerating along the traffic, braking to slow down, avoiding oncoming traffic when making turns, switching lanes to optimize traffic flow, and making pathfinding decisions when an unexpected event, such as a traffic accident, occurs on the route originally planned. This means pathfinding calculations are more numerous and more in-depth than in City Skylines, as the agents have more features affecting their decisions. However, the calculations are more efficient, resulting in higher performance across the board, as the pathfinding and simulation, among other calculations, take advantage of all the available processing power of the multi-core CPUs, aka ways for City Skylines 2. Also, as a major improvement to the first game in the series, Cities Skylines 2 doesn't feature hard limits for agents moving about in the city. Overall, the performance of the simulation and pathfinding is vastly improved, which means larger populations are possible. The only real limits to the simulation are the hardware limitations on the platform running the game. This is obviously great because, as we know, the traffic would become so impacted at larger scale cities in Cities Skylines 1, and the cars wouldn't use all the lanes, and it would just really slow down the simulation dramatically, to the point where it would just be easier to restart. So I am really excited to see just how big we can grow our cities this time around with the new and improved traffic flow. We have this screenshot of this nice suburban town with the city in the distance, and the caption says, "Build large cities and watch your citizens travel them for work or leisure." Roundabout behavior. We talked about roundabouts in the last development diary, covering how they're built, but that isn't the only improvement. Traffic simulation also takes into account the rules regarding roundabout entry and exit. Vehicles entering the roundabout give way to those already on it. However, just like in real life, vehicles might cut in front of another vehicle already on it if a suitable opportunity arises. This is part of the agent's behavior, which is always looking for suitable spots to improve the traffic flow by changing lanes or sneaking through an intersection at the last minute. It looks great. As you notice here, you can see there isn't a person on the motorcycle. That's what I was pointing out or mentioning earlier. The description says vehicles are always ready to take advantage of an opening. Traffic accidents. The game features traffic accidents where vehicles lose control and crash into traffic or buildings. The likelihood of an accident happening is calculated per road segment and is increased by features such as road conditions, lighting conditions, weather, and disasters. Keeping roads in good condition by using road maintenance services and having streetlights is a good way to decrease accident probability on the road. When an accident check succeeds on a road segment, a vehicle on the segment is selected randomly to lose control. The vehicle is pushed in a random direction, gaining simple collision in physics to allow it to hit obstacles on its way. If a vehicle collides with another agent, it also gains collision in physics for the duration of the accident. I don't know how common knowledge this is, but basically what this means when they say accident check succeeds is that the game runs a randomizer across all of the different road segments, and basically it's pulls out of a bag. If you can imagine in your head, pulls out of a bag. I'm gonna make up the probability, but let's say it's 1 in 1,000 for there to be an accident. One marble is red and the rest of the marbles in the bag are blue. And so it rolls for accident and then basically pulls something out. And if it's blue, there's no accident. If it's the red one, then the accident occurs, and then it's randomly generating which vehicle the accident's gonna happen on, and then all of the physics and stuff, of course, because that's randomly generated. It doesn't predict beforehand what vehicles will be affected. So I think this is super cool. It's gonna lead to some really funny and interesting accidents for sure in our cities. Accident sites need to be secured and cleared by the police and road maintenance respectively. The simulation halts traffic on the lanes that are affected by the accident, and vehicles wait until the road is cleared before continuing on their way. Ambulances might also be called to the site if the accident was severe enough to cause serious injuries. If clearing the site of the accident causes traffic jams for a prolonged period, agents might recalculate their pathfinding, resulting in dangerous behavior and making U-turns to find alternative routes circumventing the blocked lane. If more lanes are free, vehicles will use them to avoid the site of the accident. And then we have this picture of this car fully flipped over. This taxi looks like it might go around it, pass it. This is so goofy. I love it. Parking. Parking is a new feature in Cities Skylines 2 and one of the 4 main aspects of pathfinding. Agents consider available parking spaces when they calculate pathfinding and decide how they travel to their destination. Usually, the most comfortable option for an agent is to be able to park on the lot of the building they are traveling to. If that is not possible, they will either choose another parking option or a different transportation method. The lack of parking can lead to citizens preferring other places for their activities, such as choosing different locations for shopping or leisure time. Citizen age groups have different preferences when it comes to travel, comfort, time, and money spent on traveling. Parking affects all of these aspects in in one way or another. Seniors prefer comfort, and if there are parking spaces near their destination, they will most likely choose them regardless of the potential parking fee. Adults are more concerned about time and choose places that are along the quickest route, while teens have the least money, so they choose cheap parking options, even if it means they have to walk longer distances or use other means of transportation to complete their travel. This basically makes me think that we're not going to get the hordes of people walking on the sidewalk like we used to in City Skylines 1. I feel like there is going to be a much better balance between people walking, taking transit, driving, biking even. So I am really excited to see how this works and how it plays out with public transit. Parking choices and pathfinding cost calculations for agents can be affected by fees set for individual parking lots and buildings, as well as roadside parking fees added to districts. That's super cool. Lower non-existent fees encourage parking for all citizen groups, while high parking fees favor wealthier citizens. And we have this really beautiful shot of the parking garage that I mentioned earlier that I loved. And the description says parking lots come in multiple sizes along with multi-story and underground parking structures. Info views. City Skylines 2 features 2 info views, the traffic info view and the road info view, to help keep an eye on traffic and address problems early on. The traffic info view shows traffic flow and volume in the city as a whole, making it easy to spot problem areas in the road network quickly as traffic jam colors the road in red. Traffic flow indicates how smoothly traffic flows in the city. A higher number means that no jams are forming, while a lower number indicates that potential bottlenecks can appear. Lastly, traffic volume shows just how many vehicles travel on the road network at different times of the day. High volumes of traffic indicate rush hours. I think I said last video or 2 videos ago that I think this is a huge improvement over what we had before in City Skylines 1, because before, when traffic would bottle up, it was like, well, is it because of rush hour? Is it because of how many lanes are on the road? Usually it didn't matter how many lanes were on the road because they would just like pile up in one lane, but we couldn't really figure out like the reason behind it. So now it feels like we have a lot more control and understanding over the traffic flow within our cities, so that's great. The screenshot description says switch between traffic flow and traffic volume to see how your network is handling traffic. So I imagine we can't see these at the same time since they both color streets, but we can switch between each as needed. I do hope they change the UI to be a bit darker. This might be an older screenshot, I'm not sure. Road overview. Road info view shows more in-depth information about a single road, covering the road's condition as well as its traffic flow and volume. With these tools available, it is possible to enhance the road network very precisely. If a particular road has a large volume of traffic, it is most likely a main road, and you might need to keep an eye on it as the city grows and upgrade it to a bigger road to alleviate traffic congestion in the future. The road condition affects accident probability and travel speed negatively, increasing the risk of accidents and slowing down traffic. Road maintenance vehicles keep the road in good condition and free of snow during the winter season, allowing smoother traffic and safer travel. Not too much to say here, but it is cool how the parking lot here is abnormally shaped. So I'm curious like what combination of parking spaces is happening here. While this lot seems like one of the ones that we could place down, although I'm not like 100% sure. It looks great though. Image description says check the condition of your roads and find your road maintenance vehicles with the road info view. Service vehicles. When service vehicles receive orders from buildings and road segments, they calculate a suitable path to their destination. As the vehicles travel to their destination, they affect the travel path and or its surroundings. For example, when a garbage truck receives an order to travel to the next destination to pick up garbage, they also pick up garbage along the way. Similarly, road maintenance vehicles will repair the segments of the road as they travel to their current destination. Emergency vehicles such as police cars and fire trucks have additional rules affecting their pathfinding. Their behavior is more dangerous compared to citizens, other service vehicles, and delivery vehicles. They are able to make illegal U-turns if it shortens their route to their destination. If possible, other vehicles will give way to the emergency vehicles by switching lanes on multi-lane roads. Super excited about that. Police patrols have additional rules to their behavior as they can override their patrol duties, decreasing crime probability in areas they travel through if an emergency, such as a robbery or traffic accident, takes place. Public transportation vehicles travel on the designated lines with the exception of taxis, which are able to freely select their routes according to pathfinding rules similar to private vehicles. Initially, they pick up fares at taxi stands, but with the taxi depot upgraded, they can pick up fares anywhere in the city. I definitely think the taxi depot isn't going to be the only thing that we can upgrade. I imagine this will apply to many other public transit situations and other buildings. Obviously, this is like a better version of what we got in City Skylines 1 with like financial districts and parks. So I'm really excited how they decide to incorporate this, but this is what I'm saying with the accessibility features expansion or like update that I think they could do. I feel like it's just so easily integratable with the way they're setting up different buildings to be upgraded and have additional features and improve the quality of the neighborhoods, you know? So I feel like it's possible. Let me know in the comments. Would you want to see an accessibility pack or like an accessibility update to the game? I would. Service vehicle operations can be limited to player-created districts. In these cases, the vehicles only answer orders and respond to emergencies within their designated districts. Any city service can service one or more districts as well as the entire city by default. We get this nice picture with a weird like a really weird stuff going on with the cars. Like I don't even know which is the original accident because there's a lot going on here. The image description says other vehicles give way if possible so emergency vehicles can reach their destination faster. I do think that like the workable district areas, such a cool concept. It kind of reminds me of Planet Zoo, where you can set different work areas for all the different employees. Like you can have certain exhibits in certain areas utilize set zookeepers, maintenance people, vets, etc. It's kind of like the same thing here where we can have districts and apply like this hospital services this district or this fire department services that district. I think I did notice this in one of the other gameplay trailers. I noticed it with the hospital, I believe. This is obviously extended across a few different game mechanics, so I am really excited to see how it works for our gameplay management. I also feel like we're gonna get some really goofy stories coming out of this, and I am so certain that City Skylines YouTubers are going to neglect certain districts for the sake of storytelling. I am looking at you, CityPlannerPlays, and also CitiesByDiana. Both of them are amazing creators, and I really can see them doing this. So if you don't know either of them, which where have you been if you don't know them? Go to my description, I will link them down below. Traffic between other cities. The game also features traffic between other cities from one outside connection to the next. This traffic does not contribute to the city's economy, but the traffic can become part of the overall traffic flow as the city grows and the outside highways are integrated into the city's road network. If the player builds a shorter route between two outside connections, the traffic between those cities will change to use the newly created option if it is more cost efficient in regard to pathfinding. And then we have this image that shows the border of the world and the roads like disappearing into it. And it says you can add new outside connections when you reach the edge tiles. Now, I have a lot of thoughts. First off, it does feel like this is directly responding to me. Maybe it's not, but I did make a City Skylines 2 prediction video before the game was announced, like literally the weekend before the game was announced. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And I predicted that we were going to have integrated economies as some sort of like, not like real-time online, but some sort of like multiplayer aspect to City Skylines 2. This was like definitely a reach prediction. I really wanted it to come true, and it looks like it's not going to happen. For context, if you're familiar with Planet Zoo, my concept was kind of similar to the way that you can trade animals on Planet Zoo online, where like we all contribute to one shared economy, but we have separate games. We play solo, like it's not like really multiplayer, but there is still some sort of like online connectivity. I thought that was like super fun and cool for that game, so I could see it totally working in City Skylines 2. This confirms that they don't have it in the game, at least not with launch, but it would be so cool if it was added, because like what does this mean? Like, oh, like this will contribute to traffic. I guess like just like generically, like we might get more traffic flow, because it's like, okay, this is connecting us to another city, but we know nothing about whatever this outside city is. Like we don't know how many people are in it. We don't know if it's just like a randomly generated number that's gonna come into play. And I get that like the more connections we have on the edge of the map, then of course like the less bottlenecking we will get with the traffic flow. But I don't know. I feel like there's way more we can do with these outside connections. So let me know in the comments if you would love to see some sort of integrated economy or like an option to play with an integrated economy, because I know not everyone, you know, wants to have an online mode, but I do think it would be super sick if there was like some way to just like develop the community further, quite frankly. And that's the end of the update. They say with that, we find ourselves at the end of this dev diary. We hope this provides insight into how traffic behaves in City Skylines 2 and will help you design your ideal cities. Traffic AI has been a recurring topic with City Skylines, and we're looking forward to hearing your feedback on the more advanced and realistic traffic simulation in City Skylines 2. Next week is public and cargo transportation. I'm super excited for next week. I actually am more excited for next week than I was for this week, although I think like this is an amazing addition to the game. I think updated AI, obviously the more optimized performance is going to be a significant improvement, not just in the way the game runs, but also just like in the realism and just general feel of the game. I think it's going to be great. I love the traffic accidents. I love the different personalities and needs of each agent or like each citizen. I do think we should get some more accessibility. I feel like that would be really good to know, or that would be really good to have in our city. And like, especially when they're saying like, we will help you design your ideal cities. To me, it's like the only ideal city is an accessible one. So I really do hope we see more in that realm of gameplay. I don't even think it needs to be like a gameplay element, if not just like literal visible features we can see in our game, like seeing an elevator for the train station, having ramps and stair options, you know? I just feel like, and even like sidewalk ramps, like just having those visible markers would be great. But if we could do more, even better. All right, I'm gonna play the video next. I'll see you after.
People are the lifeblood of your city. As they move through it, they set the city's pulse. Not in the cold rhythms of code, but with the variability and pace of a real city. So you should expect the same order and chaos that emerges when countless individual decisions are made all at once. It's a level of vibrant realism you've never seen before, and it's powered by the deep simulation of traffic AI. How people move from A to B in your city is called pathfinding. Previously, pathfinding meant choosing the shortest route by distance, but ignoring factors like travel time and traffic congestion was less than ideal. Pathfinding has changed. In City Skylines 2, 4 main factors influence how people move through your city. These factors are called pathfinding costs. People weigh up these costs to decide where to go and how to get there. The path with the lowest cost is the path they choose. But how people weigh up these costs is very different. To help you understand, let's walk through the 4 pathfinding costs. Time is usually the most important pathfinding cost. Everyone will pick their quickest route to their destination if they can. Comfort is another pathfinding cost. Who doesn't want a smooth journey? Wouldn't you avoid tricky intersections if you could? The availability, convenience, and cost of parking will now impact where people choose to go and how to get there. Easy parking is actually the deciding factor for some people when choosing where to socialize and spend their money. That's another pathfinding cost: money. Fuel, parking, and public transport tickets can seriously add up. So it's a factor in where people choose to go and how they get there. The final factor influencing pathfinding is behavior, or how likely people are to engage in risky maneuvers on the road. U-turns, lane hopping, and speeding can reduce travel times, lower fuel consumption, and avoid some of the inconvenient aspects of travel. To keep pathfinding costs low, people will reroute if something happens on their journey. For example, if they get caught behind a traffic accident that takes too long to clear, they'll find another way to get where they're going. Hang on. Traffic accidents? Afraid so. Drivers can lose control and crash their vehicles into traffic and buildings. Yikes. You see, things like wet roads, extreme weather events, and the time of day can increase the risk of a collision. But it's actually poor road conditions that should keep you awake at night. Want to reduce the risk of serious mishaps? Send your road maintenance crew out ASAP. Traffic AI has improved pathfinding so much that you can now grow a larger population. But remember, a big population brings opportunities and challenges. 2 info views can help you plan and react when life takes a left turn. Traffic Info View takes the guesswork out of traffic management. It delivers a real-time overview of how much traffic is on your road network and traffic, so you can resolve problems quickly. Deep simulation transforms the movement of people, goods, and services through your city into the pulsing reality of a living, breathing city. But how people choose their path? That is always a response to the world around them. A world of your creation.
This isn't really that important, but I do want to point out the fire escape because I think this is like a really nice detail. And I also really love the way that this building looks. I'm not sure if this is part of the European theme or the American one. I could see it being a part of either. I just think it looks really great, so I wanted to point those out. I feel like the density scale in this game is a lot better as well. This shot is really goofy. I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but look at this like truck swerving. That is crazy. Here, we'll watch it again. That is literally nuts and so funny. That truck changed lanes really fast. Whew. I do love the shots where like here the truck is pausing to let the pedestrians walk. I think that's really cute. Okay, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but this shot I thought was important to point out because I think this shot proves that the curve angle, like the degree of the curve as well as the steepness of roads is going to affect how well traffic performs and whether there's going to be accidents or not. If you look closely, you can see this truck literally it's literally tilting on the curve. So I do feel like that's just an evidence that we're going to have to be a little more careful when we put down our roads. And we see this more in some of the other shots too. Like there's clearly like suspension animations built into certain vehicles. So I just have a feeling that's going to affect it. I also do wonder if there's like going to be better cars versus worse cars. Like are the poorer citizens gonna have worse cars that like slip more on the streets and stuff that like, you know, aren't being well maintained? I don't know. That'd be interesting. I was also thinking, like, if we have policies that affect how many electric vehicles in our city there are, will the parking lots automatically update to include more slots for electric vehicle charging stations? Or is that something that we can manually change? Or is that something that we have no control over at all? I do feel like if there are policies to adjust to increase electric vehicle usage, that we should be able to add more electric vehicle charging stations, but I guess we'll have to see. I love this hospital model and that we actually have lanes for the ambulances. I did see this in the other gameplay trailer, but now we can adjust the parking fee. We can even see the comfort of the parking lot now in this info view, which I think is really fascinating, as well as the noise pollution. Good feature. Yeah, see, you can see this this van, going back to what I was saying, like you can see the suspension. So I do wonder if like we're gonna get more, I don't know, if like the type of vehicle is gonna impact what they do. That was crazy. Love that we still have Chirper. Chirper's off to the side now, but I'm glad he's still around. 3-point turn because of the oh my goodness, the accident. I guess I did predict that rain was going to be a factor in traffic accidents, so I'm really glad to see that that is true. I actually just realized that I missed a shot earlier that I had definitely commented on, so I'm gonna try to find it. Whew. Okay, I found it. I made a comment the first time I recorded, but obviously like I lost that. But this scene, notice the trash pileup. I have a feeling that the models now of the buildings are going to reflect the state, like the condition and state of the building, including with garbage. And I don't think we had this in City Skylines 1. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this, I guess, suggests that there's more more garbage pile up here. I definitely feel like this is such a neat design feature. Like, I'm glad they're including it. It makes it more realistic. Just something to keep an eye out for. Now let's go back to wherever we were in the video. There's an airplane here, and I noticed the shadow is just a circle, so that's a little goofy, but still love it. This shot is really cool because if you see, look, they turn off and on their high beams. I think that's amazing. And also here, there's a dashed line, meaning like you can pass from on the right lane, you can pass vehicles like that. And it switches here. So I wonder if this is like automatic due to visibility, like if the game just factors that in and paints it down, or if that's something that we can add in ourselves. But I love that. I don't know if anyone else noticed that or noticed the high beams. But I think high beams, so cute, and the dashed line, really interesting mechanic now added in game. We definitely didn't have that before. So I love noticing that. And that concludes the video. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. I'll be making a video for every single City Skylines update that is put out. Let me know in the comments, what did you like about the update? And then is there anything I said that you missed? I also would love to know how many people would be interested in an accessible cities sort of like update or DLC, because I'm really into it. And if we have a lot of people into it, maybe Colossal Order will actually consider. I guess I'll catch you next week for the public and cargo transport update. So catch you then. Bye.